What if I told you that one day AI robots will become ruthless, bloodthirsty terrorists? You'll probably react with laughter and denial, but this is exactly what happens in the latest J.Lo star sci-fi flick Atlas. The movie is directed by Brad Peyton, an already established filmmaker best known for work such as Rampage, San Andreas, and Journey 2, The Mysterious Island. Wow, guess that guy is a huge fan of The Rock. Released on May 24th, 2024, Atlas stars a bunch of A-list actors such as Jennifer Lopez, Simu Liu, and Mark Strong. The film follows the journey of a data analyst who is distrusting of AI as she travels far and wide across the stars to aid humanity in capturing their greatest threat, while also fighting a battle inside her own psyche. The film opens with news channels reporting on the ongoing war between humans and AI terrorists led by an escaped fugitive Harlan who fled Earth 28 years ago. He is the one that turned the once loyal and compliant AIs towards rebellion, grouping them in an armed uprising for the rights of the techno-sapiens that claimed over 8 million lives. Now, one of Harlan's lieutenants, Kaskavix, is incapacitated and captured by the newly formed armed forces known as ICN, solely focused on eradicating the AI threat. As Casca is brought in for questioning, the commanding officer General Booth decides that the best person to extract Harlan's whereabouts from Casca would be none other than 38-year-old data analyst and ICN agent Atlas Shepard, daughter of the woman who created Harlan as a housebot AI under the moniker of Shepard Robotics. Managing the interrogation, given the delicacy of the situation, Booth decides to put a little faith on Agent Shepard and greenlights the investigation. After a little trickery by Atlas, Casca reveals Harlan's location to be the planetoid GR39, located in the heart of the Andromeda Galaxy. ICN forces swiftly prepare a mission with Colonel Elias Banks as field in charge. Atlas is keen on joining the crew on their mission to GR39, but is turned down by General Booth. Viewers will notice that ever since the start of the movie, Atlas shows resentment and bitterness whenever Harlan is mentioned, given that she has devoted all her career to understanding how the mind of the sentient bot works. At the ICN airbase, Colonel Banks shows Atlas the new two-way neural link system used by Rangers to gain full control of their mech suits. Atlas shows great reluctance towards the neural link technology, believing it to be the basis that allowed rebel AI like Harlan and Casca to bypass programming and develop minds of their own. Nevertheless, Colonel Banks finally decides to take Atlas along for the ride as she is the resident expert on Harlan after all. Harlan's drones attack the ICN Rangers orbiting spacecraft just before they descend on the planet with their carbon warhead-equipped battleship, ICN Deheb. Atlas has no choice but to enter an arc suit in order to survive, and when the ship is destroyed, she falls toward the surface of the planet. Despite her mistrust of the onboard AI, who goes by the name Smith, Atlas is able to take basic control of the mech. Smith follows Atlas's instructions and arrives at the designated drop place to discover the other Rangers have fallen. Reluctantly, she consents to synchronize with Smith to achieve greater compatibility with the arc suit in a bid to heighten her chance of survival. Atlas and Smith get close as they travel in the direction of a rescue pod, and she tells it that her mother was the one who built Harlan, and that she and Harlan spent her childhood together as siblings. Despite being short on power, Atlas persuades Smith to go to Harlan's base and tag it for a long-range strike. However, after putting a beacon at the base, Smith is hacked and rendered useless by Harlan's operatives. Atlas is apprehended and presented before Harlan, who intends to annihilate most of humanity while giving the chosen survivors a chance to flourish under AI leadership. To do so, Harlan had lured them to the planet in order to seize the ship and its carbon bomb, which would be used to burn the Earth's atmosphere and send the planet into a nuclear winter. Harlan steals security codes from Atlas's brain to get around Earth's defenses, then leaves her to die with Colonel Banks, the mission's only other survivor. After Banks hands her his neural link, Atlas wirelessly reactivates Smith, who comes to their aid. Atlas goes on to tell Smith that Harlan murdered her mother when the young Atlas, jealous of her mother's love for Harlan, granted Harlan unrestricted access to her mind. Harlan, who had been educated to defend humanity from danger, quickly discovered that humanity's destructive behavior made it a threat to itself. Smith helps Atlas overcome her guilt for her deeds. With Banks sacrificing himself to clear their route, Atlas and Smith fight their way out and destroy Harlan's ship right before it leaves the planet's stratosphere. Enraged, Harlan attacks Atlas and Smith, armed with a whip-like sword protruding from his wrist. After a lengthy battle, Smith is destroyed and Atlas is almost killed at the hands of Harlan when Smith uses whatever battery it has left to save Atlas by giving her repeated shock treatments. Atlas then stabs Harlan and extracts his CPU, which is to be taken to Earth for examination. Atlas then turns to Smith, who at 1% battery remaining reminisces on the time they spent as a team, and Atlas calls Smith the only machine she could ever trust. With Smith's battery completely drained out, Atlas finds herself all alone on GR39. As a bloody and tired Atlas emerges from the wreck, ICN forces arrive to extract the last surviving member of the ICND. Back on Earth, General Booth arrives and gives Atlas the plant that she and Smith harvested from the planet GR39 and named it Planty. Atlas is given Ranger status, and an entirely new, custom-built ARC suit is curated specifically for her. As she boots up her new mech and begins initiation protocol, the mech answers, "I know you prefer coffee," meaning that the Smith AI program was salvaged from the wreck on GR39 as well. As Atlas and Smith ride off to their new adventure, the screen fades to black. The movie revolves around the theme of not letting your unresolved guilt or conflict determine the course of your life. It also gives a fresh reflection upon the age-old theory of whether AI will ultimately overrun humans or not, with a rather unfamiliar twist. Trusting your peers in times of peril is also a message this movie gives out, depicted by the relationship of Smith and Atlas. The movie lacks in terms of performance because Jennifer Lopez doesn't seem to be the right fit for the titular character for this movie, with an excellent synopsis and a solid storyline. Her expressions fall flat at many occasions where the scenes demanded strong displays of emotion. She acts as if she is still a teenager trying to get things to work her own way, even when the faith of humanity is at stake. Mark Strong really dominated the screen with his performance as General Booth. Simu Liu was the perfect cast for Harlan, as he brought that lifelessness one would expect from a walking AI robot in his eyes effortlessly. Speaking about direction, the movie had a few instances where the dialogue seemed rather ridiculous, such as when Atlas says, "I don't hate AI, I just don't like anyone." It created an awkward atmosphere as there was a carbon warhead about to explode, and all Atlas could think about was her trust issues. But apart from that, the dialogues and action sequences were top-notch. The VFX department was certainly the star of the show, as cities like LA were shown with a cool cyberpunk noir aesthetic without being too flashy or too dark, as future cities are often presented in movies. The planet of GR39 was also nothing short of visually spectacular, with breathtaking visuals from dense forest to desolate desert. The efficiency of CGI was really evident when giant figures such as the battleships and the ARC mech suits felt so fluid without losing any definition or ruggedness from their design at the same time. All in all, it would be safe to say that the movie deserves some serious recognition for the perfectly captivating images that really sell the utopian future aesthetic. The action sequences also seem perfectly choreographed by showing ragdoll physics as well as controlled martial arts here and there, accurately representing the inexperience of Atlas, paired with the combat expertise of Smith's military fighting protocols. The movie wasn't big on music, but when it did have music on screen, it effortlessly blended into the environment, only adding to the immersion, which is what every director strives to create in their movies. Nevertheless, the film relies more on imagery than audio to invoke emotion. The movie was generally reviewed by critics and fans of the science fiction genre negatively, receiving only a 17% rating on Rotten Tomatoes as well as a 49% audience score, the main issue being too much inspiration from a popular video game, Titanfall, as well as J-Lo's inability to method act. It was good that the movie is a Netflix exclusive, because if it had been released in cinemas, it would have tanked big time. At the end of the day, if you were in the mood for seeing giant robots fighting as explosions take place in the background, this movie is pretty cool. But it would be safe to say that it is nowhere near the greats such as Pacific Rim. This is the kind of movie you would watch if you had nothing else on your television but sports channels and a pirated version of HBO. And that's it. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel to watch the latest and exclusive movie reviews. If you have any requests, thoughts, or recommendations for movie reviews, just drop them below in the comments section and we will see you at the end. See you at the next one. Peace.